An old woman stands shivering on the doorstep of a large house in a quiet Chicago suburb. Rain pours down hard. Her coat is thin and patched, shoes worn thin, and she holds a small frayed bag like it's her only belonging. She knocks softly. The door opens. A young woman in a nice sweater and gold jewelry looks out. Her face sours instantly. "We don't give money to strangers," she says, already closing the door. The old woman speaks in a shaky voice. "I'm your mother-in-law. Your husband's mom. My home and savings are gone. I have nowhere to go. Please, just a corner to sleep in for a few days." The young woman's eyes widen, then turn calculating. She glances back at the warm house, new couch, big TV, shopping bags everywhere. Her husband is away. A fake sweet smile appears. "Come in." "Mom," she says, the word polite but cold. "We'll figure it out." What the daughter-in-law doesn't know. This poor, helpless woman isn't broke or homeless at all. She's not desperate. She's here on purpose, dressed in rags to test the truth. To see if the wife she chose for her son has a good heart, or if she's greedy and cruel underneath the nice smile and fancy life. In the weeks ahead, true colors show. Kindness turns to neglect, words turn sharp, secrets come out, and one family gets torn apart. This is the real story of a mother who pretended to be poor, to uncover who her son's wife truly was. Stay with me. What happens next will shock you. My name is Margaret Thompson, but most folks just call me Maggie. I'm 68 now, living simple in a small apartment on Chicago's South Side. Back then I still owned the old family house in the suburbs, the one my husband Robert and I bought fresh out the 70s. We raised our only daughter, Emily, in that house. Emily was always my heart. Sweet, driven, the kind of girl who checked in every Sunday, even when her marketing job downtown had her running non-stop. When Emily met James 4 years back, I was over the moon. He was charming, good-looking, came from what looked like solid people. They dated a couple years, got engaged, then tied the knot in a beautiful backyard wedding. I chipped in big for with Robert's leftover insurance money. I handed them the down payment on their nice house as a wedding gift. Felt like the right thing. Moms take care of their girls. After the wedding, things started changing little by little. James would drop comments like, "That old house is falling apart, Mom. Why not sell and downsize closer to us? Or we could really use that cash for upgrades, we're thinking kids soon." I'd smile, but it rubbed me wrong. Emily never pressed. She'd just go quiet when he talked, like she always did, to keep the peace. Then one Thanksgiving, talk turned to Robert's will. Everything came to me first, the house savings, a quiet investment account, but it was meant for Emily down the line. James's eyes got this spark when the numbers came up. Not excited for Emily. More like counting it already. I started catching how he acted when Emily wasn't around. Short replies, eye rolls when I called, reasons why they couldn't visit. Emily said he was stressed from work, but I could feel it deeper. Moms always do. So after weeks of thinking it over and too many restless nights, I came up with a plan. I told Emily I was heading to a retirement spot out of state, said the house sold fast and low because of the market. Let her believe I was down to almost nothing. Then I showed up at their door looking wrecked. Thrift store clothes, no makeup, hair a mess, just that one little bag in my hand. I had to see who James really was when he thought nobody that mattered was watching. What I learned tore me up. But it ended up protecting my daughter. The first couple of years after Emily and James got married felt almost perfect on the surface. They dropped by the old house every couple of weeks for Sunday dinner. James would grill steaks in the backyard while Emily helped me set the table, laughing about work drama or planning little weekend getaways. I'd watch them from the kitchen window and think, this is what Robert and I built toward. My girl was happy, her husband seemed solid, and the family felt whole. James was good at the small stuff early on, bringing flowers for me on Mother's Day, fixing the leaky faucet without me asking, even calling me Mom like it came natural. Emily glowed around him. She talked about starting a family soon, maybe turning the spare room into a nursery once they saved up more. I started picturing grandkids running through the same yard my daughter grew up in. But little cracks started showing if you paid attention. James began making offhand comments about money more often. "That old place is eating your savings, Mom. Property taxes alone are brutal these days." Or when Emily mentioned wanting to visit more, he'd say, "Gas prices are insane. Maybe we skip next weekend." I brushed it off as him being practical. Young couples worry about budgets. Then the visits got shorter. They'd show up late, leave early. James always had a work call or a thing to get to. Emily apologized every time. Eyes tired like she was carrying the excuses. One afternoon she pulled me aside in the hallway while James was on the phone outside. "Mom, he's stressed. The firm's cutting bonuses. He's just on edge." I hugged her tight and said it was okay, but inside I felt a knot tighten. Around the 2-year mark, Robert's will came up again during a casual chat over coffee. I mentioned in passing that the investment account was doing well. Nothing flashy, just steady growth from blue-chip stocks he'd picked decades ago. James leaned forward a little too quick. "How much we talking, roughly?" I gave a ballpark figure and his eyebrows shot up. Not in a "that's great for Emily" way. More like mental math. After that, he started asking about the house value, how fast it could sell, what the market looked like. Emily changed the subject every time, but I noticed. The real shift hit when I got sick that winter, bad flu that turned into pneumonia. I was laid up for weeks. Emily came by daily with soup and meds. James? He sent flowers once and texted, "Get well soon." When I finally felt better and invited them over, James suggested I consider assisted living. So the house wouldn't be a burden. You could cash out, live easier. Help us with a down payment on something bigger for when the baby comes. Emily looked embarrassed and said, "James, stop." But the words hung there. That was when the doubt really sank in. I started paying closer attention to how he spoke to Emily when he thought I wasn't listening. Sharp little digs about her spending, about, "Your mom's money sitting there doing nothing." She'd laugh it off or change the topic, but her smiles got smaller. I couldn't shake the feeling that the man I welcomed into my family saw me as a checkbook first and a mother second. So I decided to test it. Not out of spite. Out of love for my daughter. I needed to know if he'd still treat her right, and treat me with any decency, if he believed I had nothing left to give. The pneumonia scare was the real wake-up call. After I got out of the hospital, Emily insisted on helping more around the house, cleaning, cooking, even staying overnight a few times. James came once, dropped off groceries, then left quick with some excuse about a deadline. I thanked him anyway, but the way he looked around the place like he was appraising it stuck with me. A couple months later, I brought up the will again during one of our Sunday dinners. I said casually, "Emily, when I'm gone, the house and the account go straight to you. No strings." James set his fork down a little too hard. "That's great, Mom. But honestly, why wait? The market's hot right now. You could sell, pocket the cash, live off it easy. We could help manage the money so you don't have to worry." Emily shot him a look. "James, she's not even thinking about that yet." He shrugged. "Just saying. It's practical." That night after they left, I couldn't sleep. I started going through old papers in the attic, Robert's investment statements, property deeds. Everything was still in my name, solid. But James's words kept replaying. Practical. Manage the money. Help. Then the first real crack showed up. Emily called me crying one evening. "Mom, James and I had a fight. He said we should push you to sell the house now. Said it's sitting there useless while we're crammed in our place. He even suggested I talk to you about it alone, make it seem like my idea." She sounded guilty, like she hated repeating it. I told her not to worry, that it was just talk. But inside, anger started building. Not at Emily, at him. A week later, I tested the waters. I told them both over lunch that my retirement fund was running low because of medical bills. "I might have to dip into the house equity soon," I said, watching James close. His eyes lit up for half a second before he caught himself. "That's tough, Mom. But hey, if you need help figuring out the sale, I know a guy. Realtor friend. Could get you top dollar quick." Emily frowned. "We're not rushing her." James smiled tight. "Of course not. Just offering." That same week, Emily mentioned James had started asking about my exact net worth for estate planning. She laughed it off like it was normal couple stuff, but I saw the worry in her eyes. He was already plotting. The final push came when I accidentally left a fake bank statement on the coffee table during their next visit. Printed it myself, showed my savings down to almost nothing, house value listed low. James picked it up while I was in the kitchen. I watched from the doorway as he scanned it, lips moving like he was calculating. When he saw me, he dropped it quick and changed the subject. That was it. The mask slipped just enough. He wasn't concerned about me. He was counting what he could get. I knew then I had to go through with the plan. Show up at their door looking like I'd lost it all. Not to hurt them. To protect Emily from a man who saw dollar signs before he saw family. The next morning I started packing my poor bag. Thrift clothes, no jewelry, messy hair. I called Emily and said I was moving far away, house sold cheap, barely anything left. Then I drove to their neighborhood and waited for the right rainy night to knock. The night I showed up at their door, James played it cool at first. He wasn't home yet. Emily let me in, eyes wide with worry. Mom, what happened? You said you sold the house, but... This. She hugged me tight, helped me out of my wet coat, made tea. I stuck to the story. Bad buyers backed out last minute, fees ate everything, retirement spot fell through. I was broke. Needed a place to crash till I figured things out. Emily nodded, teary. Of course, stay as long as you need. James got home late, smelling like afterwork drinks. Emily explained quick, and his face? It froze for a second, polite smile but eyes cold, scanning me like I was some stray dog. Mom, wow, that's rough. Come on, we'll get you settled on the couch. Not the guest room. The lumpy couch in the living room. Fine, I thought. Test starting. First few days were awkward but bearable. Emily fussed over me, brought blankets, cooked extra, even offered to take me shopping for basics. James, he avoided me mostly. Grunted good mornings, buried in his phone during meals. But I caught the whispers in their bedroom at night. How long is this gonna last? He'd hiss. We can't afford another mouth. Emily shushed him. It's Mom. We'll manage. Then the escalation kicked in. About a week later, James accidentally left his laptop open in the kitchen. I peeked, emails to a realtor buddy, asking about quick sales for an elderly relative's property. Attached? Photos of my old house from online listings. He'd been digging. That night at dinner he brought it up casual like. Mom, I was thinking. If there's any equity left in your place we could help flip it. Get you some cash flow. Emily looked confused. She already sold it. James smirked. Did she? Markets change fast. I played dumb, said it was all gone. His jaw tightened. Deeper stuff started unfolding. James began forgetting to buy enough groceries. I'd offer to chip in with the few bucks I had, but he'd wave it off, then complain loud about bills. Gas is killing us and now extra food? We gotta talk budgets. Emily defended me, but I saw the strain on her face. One morning, I overheard him on the phone. Yeah, the old lady's crashing here. Thinks she's staying long-term. Nah, no money, total drag. Gotta figure out how to nudge her out without drama. The neglect ramped up. James worked late every night, leaving Emily to handle me. But when he was home he'd blast the TV loud, ignoring my headaches. He moved my stuff around without asking, organizing the living room so my spot felt smaller. Emily noticed, argued with him. She's family. He'd snap back. Family that shows up broke? That's convenient. Then came the real deception. 2 weeks in I lost my fake wallet. Planted it for them to find. It had a crumpled note with my last bank info, balance 0. James found it first. Instead of giving it back right away, he pocketed it. Later, I caught him in the home office on my account site. I'd set up a dummy one. He was trying passwords, muttering about transfers. Emily walked in, and he played it off as helping with online banking. But I knew he was sniffing for any hidden cash. The cruelty deepened. James started dropping hints about shelters downtown, or senior programs for the needy. One evening, after Emily went to bed early, he cornered me in the kitchen. Look, Mom, no offense, but this ain't a hotel. Emily's stressed and frankly you're cramping our style. If you got nothing to contribute, maybe it's time to move on. His voice was low, threatening. I teared up, part act, part real, hurt, and said I'd try. He smiled, patted my shoulder like he'd won. But the worst? He lied to Emily. Told her I'd confessed to having secret savings but was hoarding it. She's testing us, Em. Playing poor to see if we'll beg. Emily confronted me, confused and hurt. I denied it gentle, but the seed was planted. She started pulling away a bit, doubting. Through it all I documented everything, notes on my hidden phone, timestamps. James was showing his true self. Greedy, manipulative, willing to gaslight his own wife to chase money that wasn't even there. The betrayal wasn't just against me, it was poisoning my daughter. I knew the test was working, but damn, it hurt watching Emily caught in the middle. I had to push a little further before revealing the truth. The weeks dragged into a month, and what started as a test turned into pure hell. Emily began pulling away. James fed her lies every day, said I was milking them, that I'd always been selfish with money, that Robert left me everything because I manipulated him. Emily defended me at first, but the constant drip of poison wore her down. She'd come home from work exhausted, see me on the couch and sigh. Not angry, just tired. Like I was another problem she had to solve. James ramped up the cruelty. He forgot to turn on the heat in the living room, claiming the bill was too high. Nights got freezing. I'd wrap myself in the thin blanket Emily gave me, teeth chattering. He'd walk by, smirk and say, "Tough times, huh, Mom?" One evening he accidentally spilled coffee on my bag, the only thing I had left, and didn't apologize. Just laughed it off. Oops. Guess you'll have to make do. Emily started crying in the bathroom at night. I'd hear her through the thin walls. "I don't know what to do, James. She's my mom." He'd whisper back, "She's choosing to stay here broke. We can't keep carrying her. Think about our future, kids, house payments." The guilt ate at her. She stopped bringing me tea, stopped asking how I felt. One morning she sat me down and said quietly, "Mom, maybe we need to look into those shelters. Just temporary." Her voice cracked. I nodded, tears in my eyes, half acting, half real. Seeing my daughter doubt herself, doubt me because of him, it shattered something inside. I felt completely alone. No home, no money in their eyes, no respect. James had turned my own daughter against me without her even realizing it. I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if the test was worth this pain. Was protecting her from him worth watching her break? I questioned everything. Maybe I should have just told the truth from the start. Maybe love meant letting go. The rock bottom hit hardest one rainy afternoon. Emily left for work early. James came into the living room, stood over me. "Listen, old lady. Pack your crap. You're out by Friday." Emily's too soft to say it, but I'm not. "We don't want you here." He leaned in close. "And if you try telling her some sob story, I'll make sure she sees what a burden you really are." Then he walked out like it was nothing. I sat there numb, the fake tears real now. I'd come to uncover greed. Instead, I found a man willing to destroy his wife's family for $1 that didn't even exist yet. And my daughter? Caught in the crossfire, losing pieces of herself every day. I had nothing left to lose. It was time to end the charade. That Friday morning hit like a freight train. James left for work early, smirking as he grabbed his keys. Emily kissed my cheek goodbye, eyes red from crying the night before. "I'll figure something out today, Mom. I promise." She sounded so small. The door closed and the house went dead quiet. I sat on that damn couch staring at the wall, feeling every bit of the 68 years in my bones. But something snapped inside me. No more waiting. No more letting him win. I pulled out my hidden phone, the one I'd kept charged in my bag the whole time. First thing, I texted my old friend Linda, the lawyer who'd handled Robert's will years ago. "Need you. Urgent. Can you meet?" She replied in minutes. "My office, noon. Bring whatever you've got." I slipped out the back door while the house was empty, caught an Uber with the last cash I'd stashed for emergencies. No one saw me leave. At Linda's office downtown I spilled everything. The fake poverty act, the planted statements, the overheard calls, James's threats, the laptop snooping. I played audio clips I'd secretly recorded on my phone. James in the kitchen cornering me, his low voice saying, "You're out by Friday. Emily's too soft." Linda's face hardened as she listened. "This isn't just greed, Maggie. This is coercion, possible fraud if he's tried accessing accounts. We can build a case." She pulled up public records on my house. Still fully in my name, no liens, no sales attempts. Then she ran a quick search on James's name. Turns out he'd been Googling how to contest elderly parents' will and power of attorney tricks months back. Linda smiled grim. "He's sloppy. We have timestamps, recordings, witnesses if Emily flips. You walk back in there with proof or we go legal. Your call." I chose proof first. For Emily. Linda gave me a folder. Copies of my real bank statements showing healthy balances, the deed, Robert's will scanned clean. She also drafted a simple letter stating I'd rediscovered assets and was reclaiming my independence. Hand this to Emily alone. Let her read it. Then confront him together. I took a deep breath outside her office. The rain had stopped. Sun peeked through clouds for the first time in weeks. I wasn't the broken old lady anymore. I was Maggie Thompson, mother, widow, fighter. I had evidence, a lawyer, and most important, the truth on my side. I caught another Uber back to their neighborhood. This time I walked tall. No more shuffling. I knocked on the door like I owned the place. Emily opened it, surprised. Mom? Where do you go? I stepped inside, handed her the folder, gentle. Read this, sweetheart. Then we'll talk. All of us. As she flipped the pages, her eyes filled with tears, relief, anger, confusion mixing. James wasn't home yet. But when he walked through that door later, the game was over. Hope wasn't just starting. It was roaring back. James walked through the front door at 7:15 p.m., loosening his tie, already calling out, What's for dinner? He froze when he saw me standing in the living room, not on the couch but right in the middle, arms crossed, looking straight at him. Emily sat on the armchair, folder open on her lap, face pale but set. The air felt thick, like right before a storm breaks. What the hell is this? James said, eyes flicking between us. Mom, I told you Friday was the deadline. Pack up. Emily stood up slow. She's not going anywhere, James. Sit down. He laughed short and sharp. What, you two ganging up now? Look, we talked about this. Emily cut him off, voice shaking but strong. Read this. She thrust the folder at him. The real bank statements, the deed still in my name, Robert's will untouched. James snatched it, scanned fast. Color drained from his face. This says you've got over 300 grand in liquid assets. And the house never sold. I stepped forward. That's right. I never lost a dime. I came here pretending to be broke because I needed to see who you really were when you thought I had nothing left to give. James's mouth opened, closed. He looked at Emily, desperate. Babe, she's lying. This is some setup. Emily's voice cracked like thunder. I heard the recordings, James. You threatening her. You trying to snoop in her accounts. You telling me she was hoarding money to make me doubt my own mother. You said she was a burden. You wanted her gone so you could get at what's hers, mine, ours. He backed up a step. I was stressed. Work's been hell, bills piling up. Stressed enough to kick my mom to the street? Emily's tears fell now, but her voice stayed steady. You lied to my face. Every day. You made me question her. You made me think about sending my own mother to a shelter. James's eyes darted to the door like he might bolt. Come on. We can fix this. It was just talk. I spoke then, calm but cold. It wasn't talk. It was calculated. You poked around my finances, spread lies to turn my daughter against me. All for money that wasn't even yours to touch. You showed exactly who you are. Emily wiped her face. I want you out, James. Tonight. Pack a bag. Go stay with your brother. We're done. He stared at her, stunned. You're throwing me out? Over this? She tricked us. No, Emily said. You tricked me. You showed me your heart when you thought no one was watching. And it's ugly. James looked at me one last time. Pure hate in his eyes. Then stormed to the bedroom, slamming drawers as he grabbed clothes. Minutes later he was at the door. Bag slung over his shoulder. This isn't over. You'll regret this. Emily didn't flinch. Get out. The door slammed. Silence fell. Emily turned to me, collapsed into my arms, sobbing. I'm so sorry, Mom. I should have seen it sooner. I held her tight. You see it now. That's what matters. The confrontation was over. The mask was gone. And for the first time in weeks, the house felt like home again. The door slammed behind James, and the house fell into a heavy, peaceful quiet for the first time in months. Emily and I stood there hugging, both crying. Hers from relief and guilt. Mine from the sheer exhaustion of holding it together. She pulled back, wiped her face, and whispered, Mom, I almost lost you because of him. I'm so sorry. I cupped her cheek. You didn't lose me, sweetheart. You found yourself again. That's what this was about. We sat on the couch, the same one I'd slept on for weeks, and talked until the sun came up. Emily admitted she'd felt the red flags but ignored them because she wanted the marriage to work. James had charmed her, then slowly isolated her with his practical talk about money and future. She'd started doubting her own instincts. Now she saw clear. The next day, Emily called Linda. We filed for divorce immediately. No contest, no drawn-out fight. James tried to push back at first. Texts full of apologies mixed with blame. Threats about taking half, even though we weren't married long enough for that to stick. Linda shut it down fast. The recordings, the attempted financial snooping, the emotional coercion. His lawyer advised him to walk away clean. He did. Signed the papers 2 weeks later, moved out for good. No alimony, no claims on anything. Emily kept the house. We sold it later and split the profit fair. I moved back into my old family home. Fixed it up with Emily's help. She started therapy, rebuilt her confidence, and threw herself into work she actually loved. 6 months later, she met someone new, kind, steady, the kind of man who asks how your day was without checking his watch. They're taking it slow, and I'm happy just watching her smile real again. As for me, I learned something too. Love sometimes means testing the people closest to you, not out of mistrust but to protect what matters most. Greed can hide behind charm, but truth always wins when you stand your ground. Emily and I still have Sunday dinners. Just us two laughing, cooking Robert's old recipes. No more shadows. No more tests. Just family, the real kind. And every time I look at her I know the pain was worth it. Because my daughter is free, safe, and loved exactly as she deserves. What a ride, right? This story isn't just about one mother testing her son-in-law. It's about every family where money quietly changes people. We sat on the couch, the same one I'd slept on for weeks, and talked until the sun came up. Emily admitted she'd felt the red flags but ignored them because she wanted the marriage to work. James had charmed her, then slowly isolated her with his practical talk about money and future. She'd started doubting her own instincts. Now she saw clear. The next day, Emily called Linda. We filed for divorce immediately. No contest, no drawn-out fight. James tried to push back at first. Texts full of apologies mixed with blame. Threats about taking half, even though we weren't married long enough for that to stick. Linda shut it down fast. The recordings, the attempted financial snooping, the emotional coercion. His lawyer advised him to walk away clean. He did. Signed the papers 2 weeks later, moved out for good. No alimony, no claims on anything. Emily kept the house. We sold it later and split the profit fair. I moved back into my old family home. Fixed it up with Emily's help. She started therapy, rebuilt her confidence, and threw herself into work she actually loved. 6 months later, she met someone new, kind, steady, the kind of man who asks how your day was without checking his watch. They're taking it slow, and I'm happy just watching her smile real again. As for me, I learned something too. Love sometimes means testing the people closest to you, not out of mistrust but to protect what matters most. Greed can hide behind charm, but truth always wins when you stand your ground. Emily and I still have Sunday dinners. Just us two laughing, cooking Robert's old recipes. No more shadows. No more tests. Just family, the real kind. And every time I look at her I know the pain was worth it. Because my daughter is free, safe, and loved exactly as she deserves. What a ride, right? This story isn't just about one mother testing her son-in-law. It's about every family where money quietly changes people. Greed doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers excuses, practical advice, and, we're just thinking about the future. But real love? It shows up when there's nothing left to gain. Maggie didn't lose her daughter that day, she got her back. Emily didn't lose a husband, she lost a mask. And in the end, truth won because someone had the courage to look behind the smile. If you've ever felt that quiet doubt in your own family, the one that says, is this really about me? Or about what I have? Trust your gut. Protect the people you love, even if it means hard conversations or painful truths. Family isn't about what's left behind. It's about who stands beside you when everything's stripped away. Thanks for sticking with me through this emotional one. If it hit close to home, drop a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next real story that could change how you see the people around you. Drop in the comments. Have you ever had to test someone's heart? Or been tested yourself? I read every one. See you in the next video. Take care of each other out there.